Hey, you're listening to Witchy Spiritual Stuff with your host, me, Elementally. And today we're going to get into like a quick how to learn witchcraft spells. So you want to know how to learn witchcraft spells? Let's do this. Whether you're a beginner or you already have a few spells under your belt, one of the greatest things about being a witch is that there's always more to learn. So each new spell you learn is a new opportunity to find happiness and spread it to those around you. But I totally get that you're not sure where to start, so let's chat about it a little bit. The big thing you need to know is what type of spells are out there, and you need just some quick beginner tips, and that's how we're going to get you started through all of this. So to give you an idea of the possibilities when it comes to witchcraft spells, it pays to take a look back at history. Many early witches would practice witchcraft as a source of income, where they would sell charms and fortune-telling services to those around them. This was particularly important for widows who often wouldn't have any other way to earn money. But in those days, witchcraft sort of extended way beyond that and went through lots of secret tunnels and things like that, and nobody really talked about it. But now witchcraft isn't just a way to survive or make a living. It's witches can think outside the box and cast spells for every part of life. So witches can cast spells for themselves to improve their fortunes, or they can cast spells for others to help a friend in need and that sort of thing, or their success, etc. But if you're wondering how to learn witchcraft spells, it's important to know that different types of spells and what they are. So one of the big, most important spells that everybody always talks about is love spells. Well, when it comes to love spells, there's a lot of different kind of spells that you can do to assist a person in their love life. But it's kind of important that with love spells, you be responsible. And we chatted about that in last podcast, so definitely check that out. But here are some of the different things that love spells can do. You could do a spell to boost your attractiveness, a spell to get you ready to fall in love, a spell to strengthen or improve your current relationship. It doesn't hurt, especially if you involve your partner, to reclaim your ex-partner. And of course, everyone always has free will, so that's kind of an interesting gray area, but we do have to talk about it if we're talking about this. To rekindle your love that you already have, but just needs some more flame igniting, to seek reconciliation with someone, or even to forget about someone, or to keep someone from being unfaithful. Love spells can be used to help you also comprehend your own personal deepest feelings. And that's a self-love thing, which is really important. A lot of times love spells are about learning to love yourself so that you can be the best person you can be in front of others. And then they can love you because look, of course they love you. You're freaking amazing. You now realize how amazing you are. But then there are spells for fortune and wealth and, cash money. And that's a whole thing too, which we've chatted about before as well. But this type of spell, it has a lot of different kinds. People do lottery winning spells, and those are gross and not something that you should do. But there are also spells attracting more money, maybe getting a raise at work, which is going to be a spell to help you concentrate more at work so you do better or something like that. And then there's also spells to just help you eliminate debt, which is going to be kind of a spell to teach you best practices in that situation. If your finances aren't the best, or honestly you just want a little boost though, money spells can really help you in a cool way, especially manifesting money, which we've talked about again and again. Another big one that you hear about a lot, and this one is super controversial, but it spells for health. So if you know one who's sick, you can use health spells to make them feel better, which that we all know that's not true. But you can clear someone's negative energy or repair their aura and things like that. And you can also do things to reduce stress and anxiety, and that's going to change healing properties, just that's because our bodies are so cool. White magic spells are witchcraft spells meant to bring people happiness and harmony in their life, and that's mostly what we talk about here. It's a super harmless type of magic. It's a super harmless type of magic that its entire objective is just to aid and protect those who are weak. So, I mean, it's a very good thing, and it's only going to provide like wonderful things. It's never going to have the power to destroy or hurt anybody, but it's going to clean away negativity, and it's going to clean away bad habits, and it's also going to offer that like emotional healing and like to get rid of that emotional suffering. And it's just going to, a lot of times you're going to do it by creating like that circle of protection, and it's going to bring peace to anybody that you would cast it upon. If you're not sure which spells to start with, you should know that every witch is unique. Each road is distinct, and each path is deeply personal. I have met a variety of witches, and some of them are green witches, some of them are hedge witches, some of them are eclectic witches, traditional witches, divination witches. There's so many different kinds, but the big thing I always tell people when they want to start practicing witchcraft is to evaluate themselves and understand what's most important to them in their personal practice. And you kind of just have to understand why you're doing this and who you're doing it for. That's a big part of this, and it's going to be really important. But if you're looking for like how to learn specific witchcraft spells, one of the best ways is to literally learn from a professional witch. It's a skilled witch who can help you navigate the world of witchcraft and teach you how to use and cast spells effectively. They're all over the internet. You can find them. But you want to read reviews and like look and see what other people say, especially on social media, just because you want to see what other people are saying about them. You don't want to make that decision based solely on what you know, because you wouldn't be there to learn if you didn't need to know more. If you don't have somebody though, like to rely on like that, there's things that you can do on your own. I mean, of course, there's amazing witchcraft books. There's the Modern Witch. There's the Green Witch. There's like endless books out there. You can look up recommended reading lists from experienced witches. They're all over Amazon. Or you can look up Beginner's Guide to Witchcraft and Spells for Beginners are great things to Google. And you want books that give you those like step-by-step instructions for how to learn witchcraft spells. And they're just like easy to follow. And if you aren't sure, like, again, look at the reviews on Amazon, see what people say about the book. And if you're not a beginner, you can expand your horizons a bit and choose something that matches your skill level. You can modify the same search terms and look up things like intermediate spells for witches or advanced witchcraft spells. You're going to want to do like those longer tags like that so that you don't just end up with a bunch of like costumes from Spirit, because that's not what you're looking for. And speaking of, there's a lot of like witchcraft stores, and they're called like metaphysical shops, and like they'll have advanced tools and things like that, but they'll also have like little step-by-step spell kits to get you started, and they might have some herbs and a few crystals and like maybe some incense and a candle or something like that. And then with enough practice, you're going to be able to sort of make these kits on your own before you would ever get started, so you don't necessarily need help. Another great way is to join a coven. And this is kind of, a lot of people love to do this and a lot of people don't, but it helps you to kind of get in touch with other witches. And it's a fantastic way to learn directly from other witches. You get to see them in action, ask questions, and try spells for yourself. And if you already know some spells, other witches can give you feedback on your technique and even just give you more spells to learn. You don't have to physically be there with the other witches either. You can easily find communities of witches on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, TikTok. And who knows, you might come across an experienced witch who is willing to mentor you. If you find a witch that aligns with your goals and interests, you can speak to them or send them a message or whatever. Just ask them. Ask if they're willing. You'd be surprised at how often they'll say yes if you just ask. When it comes to learning new spells, it's important to let your goals guide you. Ask yourself questions like, what spells do I want to learn first? What are my goals with witchcraft? You can start off with love spells and wealth spells, but I mean, you can also start off with protection spells. Those are super simple, super easy, in a way that a lot of people begin. Once you figure it out and you figure out what your learning goals are, it's important to use the guidance of more experienced witches in some way, shape, or form, because many of them have compiled in-depth resources and created communities filled with these helpful tips like I'm trying to give you here today. And if you use that information, that's going to give you the best possible start in this whole witchcraft world. So good luck and happy witching.